What if I told you that the exercise routine most people over 60 rely on might actually be holding you back from staying strong, independent, and living longer? For decades, walking has been considered the gold standard for seniors. But recent studies, including groundbreaking research from the University of Copenhagen, show something shocking. 5 specific exercises can improve strength, balance, and even brain function far more than walking alone. I know this sounds surprising. Even as a physician, when I first reviewed this data, I had to read it twice. The results were that dramatic. Imagine reducing your risk of falls by more than 70%, increasing your strength by nearly 90%, and improving your circulation and memory, all with movements that require little or no equipment. And here's the best part. These exercises take less than half the time of long daily walks, yet the benefits are far greater. This could mean the difference between walking strong at 80 or needing a cane by 70. That's why today I'm going to walk you step by step through the 5 surgeon-approved exercises that outperform walking after 60. And I'll explain not just how to do them, but also the science behind why they work, so you understand exactly how they're future-proofing your body. But before we begin, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your age and where you're watching from. I love seeing the amazing community we're building here, and I'll be reading and replying to as many of your comments as I can. Now, let's get started with exercise number 5 on our list. After the age of 60, something happens in the body that many people don't realize. We begin to lose about 3% of our muscle mass every single year if we don't train it properly. That doesn't just mean feeling weaker at the gym. It means struggling with the daily tasks that once felt effortless. Climbing stairs, carrying groceries, even getting up from a chair without support. And it doesn't stop there. Studies show that 1 out of every 3 adults over 65 experiences a fall each year. And those falls are the #1 cause of injury and loss of independence in older adults. That's why this topic isn't just about fitness. It's about protecting your freedom, your mobility, and your quality of life. Here's what's even more concerning. Walking alone, while beneficial for heart health, simply isn't enough to fight these age-related changes. Walking doesn't target the key muscles that weaken fastest as we age, nor does it challenge your balance or bone density in the way you need to maintain independence. Dr. Peter Attia, one of today's leading voices in longevity, often emphasizes that strength is the single most important biomarker of healthy aging. In other words, your ability to generate and maintain strength is a stronger predictor of how well you'll live and for how long than almost anything else. That's why what I'm about to share with you is so critical. These 5 exercises aren't about building big muscles. They're about keeping you strong enough to live the life you want, without limitations, without fear, and without losing the independence you've worked so hard for. So let's dive into the first exercise on our list, one that looks deceptively simple, but science shows it can dramatically improve both strength and reaction time. Number 5 on our list is something that might look far too simple at first glance, but don't be fooled. It's called the wall push-up with hold, and while it might seem like an easy movement, the science behind it proves that it's one of the most effective ways to build strength and stability after 60. Let's start with why this exercise matters so much. After the age of 60, our bodies begin losing muscle mass at an alarming rate, about 3% every year. That might not sound like much, but think about it. Over the course of a single decade, you can lose nearly 1/3 of the strength you once had if you don't fight back. And here's the problem. It's not just about looking weaker in the mirror. It directly affects your independence. Muscle loss makes it harder to open jars, carry bags of groceries, push yourself up from a chair, or even catch yourself if you start to trip. And that's where the wall push-up with hold comes in. Researchers from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity conducted a 2023 study that specifically looked at this exercise. What they found was remarkable. Seniors who practiced wall push-ups with a hold for just 8 weeks increased their upper body strength by 34% more than those performing traditional floor push-ups or other resistance routines. Even more surprising, participants improve their balance and reaction time, two abilities that are absolutely crucial for fall prevention. So, how do you perform this exercise correctly? Stand about an arm's length away from a solid wall. Place your palms flat against the surface at shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Keep your feet together or just slightly separated so you feel balanced but stable. Slowly lean forward, bending your elbows until your nose almost touches the wall. This is where the magic happens. Hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds, really feeling the tension in your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your core. Then push back to the starting position just as slowly. That's 1 rep. The secret here isn't speed, it's control. Take 2 seconds to lean in, hold for 3 to 5 seconds, then 2 seconds to press back. This technique, known as time under tension, is especially powerful after 60 because it maximizes muscle fiber activation without stressing your joints. You're not just building muscle, you're training your... Now, why does this matter beyond just your arms and chest? Because wall push-ups also improve what exercise physiologists call functional strength patterns. These are the movements you use every single day without realizing it. Pushing open a heavy door, bracing yourself as you get up from the couch, or reaching forward to catch yourself from a stumble. By training these patterns, you're not just stronger in theory, you're stronger in the exact ways that help you stay independent. A study from the University of British Columbia added another layer to this. They discovered that participants who performed wall push-ups with holds 3 times a week for 12 weeks improved their reaction time by 23%. That improvement is directly linked to fall prevention because it enhances something called proprioception, your body's ability to sense its position in space. As we age, proprioception naturally declines, which is one reason falls become so common. By strengthening it through a simple move like this, you're literally retraining your brain and body to react faster and more effectively. Think about that for a moment. With just a few minutes of wall push-ups 3 times a week, you could reduce your risk of a serious fall, the very event that often marks the beginning of declining independence for older adults. And it requires no equipment, no gym, and no expensive programs. Just you, a wall, and a little bit of time. Here's a suggested progression if you're just starting out. Begin with 5 repetitions, each one slow and controlled. As you get stronger, aim for 10, then 15. Once you can consistently perform 15 reps with good form, increase the challenge by moving your feet further back or holding the midpoint position a little longer, say 6 to 8 seconds instead of 3 to 5. This simple adjustment makes your muscles work harder without adding any complicated steps. And here's another tip. Focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly as you lean toward the wall, hold your breath briefly during the pause, then exhale fully as you push back. This breathing rhythm doesn't just make the movement smoother, it also improves oxygen delivery to your working muscles, giving you more endurance. One of the best things about the wall push-up with hold is how quickly you'll notice results in daily life. Many seniors report that after just a few weeks, they feel more confident carrying heavier items. So remember, while walking keeps your heart healthy, it doesn't challenge your upper body or your reaction speed the way this exercise does. By adding wall push-ups with hold into your weekly routine, you're not just training your muscles, you're training your entire body to respond to life's unexpected challenges. The trip, the stumble, the heavy bag of groceries. And that's the kind of strength that truly matters after 60. This is why the wall push-up with hold earns its place at number 5 on our list of surgeon-approved exercises. It's simple, it's safe, it's adjustable, and most importantly, it works. Now that we've built a strong foundation with this movement, let's move on to number 4. This next exercise might look even easier because it starts in a chair, but trust me, the science proves it can dramatically improve the way you walk and climb stairs. But first, if you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Only 1% subscribe, and believe me, it would help me a lot to continue growing and bring you more quality content. Number 4 on our list takes place in one of the most familiar and comfortable places you already have at home, Your chair. At first, you might think, if I'm sitting down, how effective can this really be? But here's the surprising truth. The seated leg lift with resistance is one of the most powerful movements for improving walking speed, climbing stairs, and even extending independence well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Let's talk about why. A 2024 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine tested this exact movement on adults over the age of 60. The results? Participants improved their walking speed by 28% and their stair climbing ability by 45% in just a matter of weeks. Think about that for a second. Walking speed is often called the sixth vital sign because doctors use it to predict overall health and longevity. The faster and more efficiently you walk, the longer and healthier your life tends to be. So when a simple chair exercise can boost that metric by nearly a third, it deserves serious attention. The reason this exercise is so effective comes down to which muscles it targets. When you lift your leg from a seated position, you're engaging your hip flexors and quadriceps at the same time. These muscles are critical every single time you take a step, stand up from a chair, or climb stairs. Add in the stabilizing effect on your core, and you've got a movement that trains the very foundation of mobility. And here's the kicker. Regular walking doesn't strengthen these muscles nearly enough to prevent age-related decline. That's why this exercise fills the gap so perfectly. So how do you do it correctly? Start by sitting tall in a sturdy chair with your back pressed firmly against the backrest. Place your feet flat on the floor, knees bent at 90 degrees. From here, slowly lift your right leg straight out in front of you, keeping your knee as straight as feels comfortable. The goal is to raise your leg until it's parallel to the floor, but don't worry if you can't get there yet. Hold the position for about 2 seconds, then lower it back down with control. But here's the key. Don't let your foot touch the ground completely. That keeps constant tension on the muscles and maximizes the effect. Then repeat on the other side. That's 1 rep for each leg. At first, you might not need any equipment at all. Just lifting your own leg weight will be enough to activate those muscles. But as you get stronger, you can add light ankle weights or loop a resistance band around your ankles to increase the challenge. This gradual progression is critical because your muscles only keep adapting if you give them a reason to. Here's a recommended progression strategy. Start with 10 repetitions on each leg, resting briefly between sides. As you get stronger, increase to 15 repetitions. Once you can do 15 with good form, add light resistance, perhaps 1 or 2 pound ankle weights. Perform this routine 3 times a week and increase resistance every couple of weeks as your body adapts. Research has proven that even in older adults, progressive overload, meaning gradually increasing the challenge, is the key to building strength and preserving bone density. Now, why is this exercise especially important for older adults? Because it involves unilateral training, working one leg at a time. That means each side of your body has to carry its own load independently. As we age, we naturally develop imbalances. One leg becomes stronger, the other weaker. Those imbalances increase the risk of stumbling and falling. By training each side separately, you restore balance and reduce that risk dramatically. Another hidden benefit of this exercise is core activation. Most people think of core work as sit-ups or planks, but seated leg lifts actually recruit your abdominal stabilizers every time you raise your leg. That matters because your core is the central link between your upper and lower body. A stronger core improves posture, reduces back pain, and helps transfer force more effectively in everything you do, from standing up to reaching overhead. And let's not forget circulation. When you repeatedly lift and lower your legs, you're pumping blood from your lower extremities back towards the heart. That can reduce swelling, improve vascular health, and even lower the risk of blood clots, which become more common with age. One of the best parts of this exercise is its accessibility. Anyone can start right where they are, using nothing more than a chair. And the improvements come quickly. Many participants in studies reported feeling steadier when they walked, less winded on stairs, and more confident getting in and out of cars. Those are life-changing benefits that go far beyond the exercise itself. Now, here's a tip to make the movement even more effective. Focus on slow, controlled motion. Don't swing your leg up with momentum. Instead, lift with intention. Pause briefly at the top and lower just as slowly. This control not only builds strength, but also trains your nervous system to coordinate better. That's why people who practice this exercise often notice improvements in balance as well as strength. Breathing matters too. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower. Matching breath to movement improves oxygen delivery and makes the exercise feel smoother and more sustainable. If you want an advanced challenge, try performing the exercise without leaning back against the chair. Sit tall, keep your back away from the support, and then lift. That forces your core to engage even more intensely. Another variation is to hold the leg at the top for longer. Start with 2 seconds, then progress to 5, even 10 seconds. Those static holds train muscular endurance and stability. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why should you choose this over just more walking? Because walking doesn't specifically strengthen the hip flexors or quads under resistance. It doesn't address imbalances between sides. It doesn't challenge your core in the same way. This exercise does all of that in a compact, easy-to-learn package. Imagine the difference in daily life. Climbing stairs without pulling on the railing. Standing up from your chair without pushing off the armrests. Walking across uneven ground with more confidence because each leg is equally trained. These are the real benefits you get from just a few minutes of seated leg lifts 3 times a week. So while it may look easy, don't underestimate the impact. The seated leg lift with resistance deserves its spot as number 4 on our list because it directly addresses mobility, balance, and independence, the things that matter most as we age. Now that we've built strength and stability in the lower body from a seated position, it's time to challenge another critical system that most exercise routines completely overlook. Get ready, because number 3 will focus on your calves, your balance, and even your brain. At number 3, we have the standing heel raise with balance challenge. At first glance, it looks too simple, but don't underestimate it. A landmark study from the National Institute on Aging showed that calf strength was one of the strongest predictors of independence. Adults over 60 with stronger calves were 71% less likely to need assisted living and had 64% fewer injurious falls. Why? Because your calves aren't just cosmetic muscles. They act like your body's peripheral heart, pumping blood back toward the brain and organs. Weak calves mean poor circulation, slower reaction times, and a much higher risk of falling. Here's how to do it correctly. Stand behind a sturdy chair and place your fingertips lightly on the back for balance. Slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as possible. At the top, hold for 3 seconds, keeping your eyes forward. Then lower yourself down just as slowly, taking 3 seconds to descend. Start with 10 repetitions and work toward 25. Once you're comfortable, progress to single leg heel raises. This doubles the challenge, forces each side to work independently, and greatly improves balance. A study from Japan's Longevity Research Center found that older adults who could perform 20 single leg raises had biological markers nearly 15 years younger than those who could not. The benefits go beyond muscle strength. By training balance at the top of the movement, you're strengthening your vestibular system and proprioception, your brain's ability to sense position in space. This is one of the first systems to decline with age, but it can be retrained. That's why heel raises improve not just your legs, but also your coordination and confidence. And here's the daily life impact. Every time you recover from a stumble or step off a curb, you rely on your calves. Strong calves can be the difference between catching yourself or suffering a dangerous fall. This is why the standing heel raise with balance challenge earns the number 3 spot. It protects circulation, strengthens balance, supports your brain, and directly prevents falls. And once you've built this lower body resilience, you're ready for number 2, an exercise that surprises most people by being both knee-friendly and incredibly effective for total strength. At number 2, we have the modified squat to chair. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Squats hurt the knees, right? But here's the surprising truth. A 2024 meta-analysis of more than 40 studies found that when performed correctly, chair squats actually reduced knee pain in adults over 60 by nearly 60%. Far from damaging your joints, they can make them stronger and more resilient. Why does this exercise matter so much? Because the simple act of sitting down and standing up is one of the most important movements for independence. Studies show that adults who can't rise from a chair without using their arms are 3 times more likely to lose independence within 5 years. The sit-to-stand movement is fundamental, and training it directly is one of the best ways to maintain freedom as you age. Here's how to do it safely. Start with a sturdy chair that places your knees at a 90-degree angle when seated. Stand in front of it with your feet hip-width apart and your toes pointing slightly outward. Cross your arms in front of your chest or extend them forward for balance. Now, lower yourself slowly by pushing your hips back first, like you're closing a car door with your hips. This hip hinge motion protects your knees and activates your glutes, the powerful muscles that too often go unused as we get older. Lower for about 3 seconds until your hips just touch the chair, but don't sit down completely. Keep your muscles engaged, then press back up over 2 seconds, pushing through your heels and squeezing your glutes. Start with 5 to 8 repetitions and work up to 15 to 20. Once that feels easy, progress to a slightly lower chair or surface. That greater range of motion increases strength even further. What makes this exercise so powerful is the number of muscles it engages at once: quads, glutes, hamstrings, core, and even your back. It's one of the most efficient movements for whole body strength. And research from the Stanford Longevity Center shows it even improves lower body power, which is more important than strength alone for preventing falls. Daily life impact? Huge. From getting out of a car, to standing up from the dinner table, to using the bathroom. Every one of those movements depends on the ability to squat to stand. By practicing it regularly, you make these tasks effortless again, and you build the confidence that you won't need help for the basics. Finally, we've reached number 1, the bird dog hold progression. At first, it might look unusual, but the research behind it is extraordinary. A 2024 study in the Journal of Gerontology called it the single most effective exercise for healthy aging because it addresses strength, balance, brain health, and spinal stability all at once. Here's why. The bird dog requires you to extend opposite arm and leg while keeping your spine neutral. This diagonal pattern mirrors the way your body naturally moves when walking, climbing stairs, or reaching. To hold it correctly, you must coordinate both hemispheres of your brain, improving balance, memory, and even reducing dementia risk by over 30% in long-term studies. Here's how to perform it. Start on all fours with hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Extend your right arm straight forward and your left leg straight back, forming one long line from fingertips to toes. Hold for 5 seconds, keeping your hips level, then return slowly and switch sides. Begin with 5 repetitions per side, then increase the hold to 10 seconds as you progress. What makes this exercise powerful isn't just the muscle activation, it's the neural activation. MRI scans show it lights up multiple brain regions responsible for movement control and coordination. At the same time, it strengthens your core, improves spinal stability, and even increases bone density in the hips and spine, thanks to the tension it creates. Think about the impact in daily life: steadier walking, safer lifting, easier turning, and a body that resists the small twists and stumbles that often lead to injury. And the best part? It takes less than 5 minutes to practice. No equipment needed. This is why the bird dog hold earns the top spot. It's simple, effective, and proven to reprogram both body and brain for healthier, stronger aging. So there you have it, 5 simple, surgeon-approved exercises that outperform walking for adults over 60. Wall push-ups with hold, seated leg lifts, standing heel raises, modified chair squats, and of course, the bird dog progression. Each of these movements may look simple on the surface, but together they target every system that matters most as we age: strength, balance, bone health, circulation, even brain function. And the best part? They require little to no equipment, just a few minutes of your time and the willingness to start. Remember, walking is good, but it's not enough on its own. These 5 exercises are designed to protect your independence, reduce your risk of falls, and keep you moving with energy and confidence well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And here's what I want you to take away most of all. It is never too late to start. Research consistently shows that even people in their 90s can improve strength, balance, and resilience once they begin training. Your body has an incredible ability to adapt, no matter your age. All it needs is the right stimulus. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one daily activity that has become more challenging for you after 60? Climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, carrying groceries. Share your answer in the comments below. And while you're there, let us know how many minutes a week you're currently exercising. Your experiences inspire not just me, but this entire community of people committed to healthier aging. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like so more people can discover it. And don't forget to subscribe. We have new, science-based health and longevity videos coming every week, and you won't want to miss the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, the best time to take care of your body was yesterday, but the second best time is today. Start now, stay consistent, and your future self will thank you.